Okay, so I'm having a little fun going back to doing something I've missed and enjoyed and love, which is reborning. I have one of Sigrid's Bock's kits. This one is Charlie. It's a toddler, but it's a little toddler. So gets me back into the groove of things. And right now I'm actually working on trying to neutralize that peach color that it has. I've already done a coat, and so it's already started, but I figure I share. It's been a while since I shared anything on YouTube. So more or less just working with acrylic paints. I got the Ultimate Fusion, and that's what this is. And I've heard mixed reviews. Some people love it, some people like ill, no, blotchy, and so forth. I think it's all on how we do the mix. But so far, no complaints so far. You're gonna want to use their primer that came along with it to help it to adhere to the vinyl. And so right now I'm just spreading the love of my mixture. It was what mixture I used was blue, a yellow, and white to kind of give me this green, so that I can kind of dulling out that peach look. That peach was just a little too much. You're not going to want peach when you're working on trying to do ethnic reborning, because it will throw it off. And so you just pounce off that excess. And there's different types of methods when you want to do malting and so forth, but right now I just need an even base. So a regular sponge, cosmetic sponge, that'll do you good. So we'll just keep working this, and I'll try to keep it in focus of the camera. But I'm actually filming with my iPhone, so hopefully it'll turn out okay. It's probably gonna be upside down and I'm gonna have to do some kind of editing, but we'll see. It's been a while since I've done this, so bear with me, everybody. Okay, so I don't know if you can notice, but if you can see, the color is starting to change slowly. So I think that the acrylic is taking pretty good, because this is only after 2 coats. I have 2 coats of primer on, and right now it's 2 coats of my green, and you can already see that it's neutralized the peach. And I'm sorry I didn't do it blank first off for you, but this was just the last second thing that I said, oh, let me video take this. So anyway, let me put that away. I've done 2 arms, and I've done the 2 legs, and I've done the head already, and I've done one of the arms, and I still have 1 arm left. So one way you could do it, I have a stick to help me kind of hold that there, so that you can kind of get a good coat. Now when you're working with it, as you can see, and if you can't, I'll make it move forward. You want it really loose, because you really want the paint to be translucent as you're adding it onto the vinyl. So take off that excess, and then just spread the love. That's what I call it, spreading the love. We got people racing outside. It sounds like cars going really fast. But you just want to go ahead and give it a nice little coat. And right now I'm doing all aspects, because again, this is just to kind of neutralize. This is my starting base, and then I'll work more to get it to be a little, start coming to life. So now some people will take their mop brush, but right now I kind of like to have this even, so that's why I use the sponge. And you want to kind of dab off that excess first, and then just, Charlie saying hello, that's my Connor. He's kind of taking over my hobby room, so I'm working out of my kitchen because I have so much stuff. But you can see, let me get closer, just go ahead and for the hands, I kind of try to, more than pounce, I actually rub off some. I want it to be a light, even coat. Not really looking for skin texture yet, just coverage. But however, on the rest of it, you do want to pounce. You want to make sure you don't have no streaks. Squeeze out the excess, go over it again. By the time you finish, it's actually going to look very dry. It won't take but a minute. So, for years I've used the Genesis heat set paints and had mixed results with that. Sometimes I had great success, but depending on the vinyl, I don't care if you washed it down, which, oh, by the way, if you're starting this, the first thing you do before you put any type of paints or primers or anything on it is wash them like it's a baby. I use Dawn. And Dawn takes off that, it's like there's a film on it when they manufacture it, and it strips that film down. You want to hear a rub. You want to be able to hear it squeak by the time you finish cleaning, because then you know that it's going to take hold to your paints much better. So as you can see, it looks pretty dry already, but you'll want to let that dry. So now I'm going to have some fun, because I've already did 2 coats of Charlie's face. And it's funny because my bird's name's Charlie and this kit's called Charlie. But I've already did 2 coats, and I kind of have it as neutral as I want it. So now I'm going to start working on building up colors. Okay, so because I am new to these, I have to use my chart legend, which Ultimate Fusion gives you the chart legend. And actually, I'm going to pause you one moment. Well, no, I won't pause. I'll have to cut through, but I will be right back because I'm missing something. Be right back. All right, so I'm back. Sorry about that. This is what I was looking for. They also give you a way to try to create the similar colors that is found with Genesis. And so we're going to be working with the yellows, which they don't have this exact yellow. So I'm going to have to work on it, because the Yellow Orchid is kind of got a mustard-like look to it. But we will see what we could do. But I'm going to be starting to create my flesh tones, which for that flesh base, let's see what we can come up with. So Burnt Umber is number 2. And I try to keep them in order, but of course that don't ever happen that way. What's this? That's 5. No. Their starter kit is what I had purchased because I want to check it out first before I go big and large. Gives you an array of colors. Alright, so this one is going to be the burnt, this is going to be the burnt umber. And I think this is flesh. Number 10. Yep, this is going to be flesh. I am going to actually use some flesh in some of the burnt umber. And I also went and got this. They didn't have in the kit that they provided, but you could buy separately. I also got some raw umber, where because this is an ethnic one, this will help me with doing shading, will help me with doing the creases and so forth, because it's ethnic and I want it to be a little bit darker, so that will come in time. Now, number 4 is red wine, which you'll use for creases, some blushing, help with the nails, so I don't need that right now. Now this is that warm yellow, and you see why I'm going to use flesh with that, because that's kind of bright, a little too bright, so I gotta kind of tone it down a little bit. Anywho, let's see what we can make. Let's see if we can get my flesh tone color that I need. Otherwise, I also do have some regular acrylic paint that I might add to it and hopefully not ruin it. But no, you want to open these things, it can be difficult, but you have to just keep pushing down and then it comes open. I know I heard some people complain, oh, it's hard to open. So right now I want just to take a drop of this yellow. Just a drop, because it's so bright. It's just a little too bright for me. And this one's freshly open, so now I gotta... See? It's not that hard once you get the hang of it. Take that off, otherwise it falls in your paint. I've learned that mistake. And so I'm going to do 2, 3, 4, 5 drops of the flesh. Okay, now I am going to crack open my burnt umber. That was relatively easy. Take off that piece. And now, because I'm experimenting, you don't want to put a whole lot of this yet. Always start lighter, work your way darker. So, 1, 2. I'm just going to start with 2. Okay. Now, time to add some water. This is a good thing to have. Why? Because you can kind of control how much water you're putting into it. And again, I want a good amount. So now I'm going to mix it and see what it's looking like. See if I need... Alright, so I'm back. And I've been playing with it since I was gone. I kind of added a couple of... Here's the mixture. I want it to look like milk chocolate. Now that kind of looks like milk chocolate, which is a color I'm looking for. Okay, so what did I use? I used the umber, the burnt umber. And I wound up using like, I'll say maybe 6 to 7 drops, okay? I used 1 drop of the yellow, only 1, I'm telling you, and 2 drops of the flesh tone. But I also included a little of the red, and because it was just a little too blasé for me. I'd like to see some real color. So now, let's get fun painting. Now when you get the kit, the Ultimate Infusion Kit, you get this fun little packet with it. And because I used my other I can open this from the bottom. Let's see. Oh yeah. Because I used my other paintbrush for the green, I want to kind of get a fresh one for this. Now their mop brush, it is kind of hairy, but I have something else that I'm probably going to use in terms of, you want to loosen that brush up, put it in clean water, dab it, go through it, make sure there's no crazy hairs flying all around, and then you're prepared. Now, okay, I got that done. Here's what I plan on pouncing with. Now, Irresistibles, where I buy a lot of my kits and stuff from, they'll be selling this, but I have to tell you, I actually got it on Amazon. I saw they had it, but I didn't see, they didn't have it in stock. So they're called Daubers. This is a jumbo dauber. So I'm gonna try using this. I haven't used it before. I usually use sponges, cosmetic sponges, and so forth. So, Charli's head. Whenever you're starting something new, first and foremost, you want to make sure your paints mix well. And although I mix this with my other brush, I automatically stir again. Get them pigments loose. Always start on the back of your head, because you don't really mind if there's mistakes, especially if you plan on rooting hair. I'm going to be rooting hair. So now, what I do is go ahead and start giving it that color. As you can see, it's already giving you that shade. And now let's test this dauber out and see how this dauber is going to work. Otherwise, I'm going back to life. I'll go back to my regular sponges, but just go ahead and pounce. And I like to take off excess. Excess gets rid of those bubbles that way. But when you're pouncing with this dauber, which I like, it's gonna start making that skin texture come up naturally. You kind of want, you don't want too many bubbles, but you don't want it to be ultra smooth, because the point of us doing the reborns is we're trying to make a realistic look. So, now some people will automatically put the paint directly onto their sponge or to their dauber. I'd like to just go ahead and put the paint directly on the vinyl, let it start setting in, and then work it in. Make sure there's no streaks, and as you can see, there's no streaks. And now we'll work on the next section. I like this dauber. Pushes down. You see, its color is not hanging on. I like that. Now, how it'll be when I do a couple of layers is another story from a different book. Might get behind the ear. Go ahead and get that ear done. Work to the top. You don't, you know, some people are drench. I don't like drenching because you're going to be doing layers on top of layers. So don't drench, but make sure it's a nice even coat that you add on and start to. Now, I want to show this before. Sometimes the paint will pool. Like you see in the neck, you might notice it right around there, it's pooling. Get you a fantail brush so that you can get rid of the pools. In the ear, get it out the ear so it don't pool up. That helps. Okay. All right, so back to pouncing. Now, if you're an impatient person, I'm gonna tell you, reborning probably ain't gonna be your cup of tea. And I can tell you, I'm one of those impatient people, but I learned patience in the process of learning how to do this. I've been doing this now since 2004. Well, that's 15 years. Wow, 15 years. I've slowed down in the last 5 years due to work, real life. Now you see as it's drying, that's why you want to try to work fast. Kind of give a little scuff up and then pounce again so that that line don't stay. Yeah, not bad. Okay. All right, so Charlie's head is done, so now I'm gonna work on the arm. Now when you're doing the arms, and we start to get to more, now I wanna also start to get the detail. One thing you don't wanna paint right now is the palm. Palms we're gonna leave for last. We're gonna try to avoid the nail bed. All you want to do basically is the outline of the arm, just the arm itself. You come here, you go like that, and give it a nice coat. And when I first started reborning, I was like, why don't they just add more paint? Why are they doing it such thin layers like that? Takes too long. Like I said, you gotta have patience. Because here's the reason why. If you wanted to have a realistic look, if you put tons of paint on at one time, you will not have that real humanoid look. It'll look like you just slapped paint on there. When it's translucent like this and built up, it allows for the artist who's working on it to truly build up textures and to provide the coloring that's very realistic looking. But when you just put, like say I just put the paint directly on, mixed it, put it in, didn't dilute it or anything, you're not gonna get this. You'll get cakey, dried up looking acrylic, which won't look pretty and it'll crack actually. So right now, I am just giving this first arm a coat. And yeah, it took pretty well. You can see a difference already. And I don't know, hopefully you're seeing a difference. It's got that tone that I'm looking for. And as you build up, you'll know where you want to stop, if you want to add more. Because the wonderful thing about when we're doing ethnic, particularly when we're talking about African Americans, Africans, we come in many shades and hues within that spectrum. So you're able to really get good representations. And sometimes you might see yourself going light complexion, or sometimes you want to give it the true cocoa color. So I don't know what I want Charlie to be yet. I just saw Charli to be so cute, and I know I wanted that milk chocolate work in. Some people might have gone lighter first, but I kind of know that I'm going close to this complexion. So take off excess and then start giving us some more color. As you can see, it's going on pretty good. So far, I like the Ultimate Fusion. Alright, I got pretty much. And you want to just look, see how I'm putting it to the side. And actually, when you do the sides, because if you see, our hands change. So you don't want to put it all the way down and all across. You just want to give that top layer there. And one way you can work with this is take your fan brush, because you don't want that line like that. And just brush it. Brush it in and brush it out, because you don't want that line to be so harsh. Okay. Now, if you see pool up, take your mop brush, and you can also just use that as well. I like using it to clean up that excess. Some people use it directly all the way through. I don't, because that's when all that hair gets stuck. This, I'm not worried about the hair as much. It's giving me the texture I want, which I like. So you can just keep working. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hush my mouth. I'm gonna work and probably do this on speed up so that you're able to get a good feature of it, and be back once we're ready for the next layer.